I suppose if you eat enough pumpkin seeds, your farts will smell like pumpkin pie. Y'all see how this thing's messing up? That's the H and AI. Accruing more debt to our timeline. It was fine till I clicked the button to start the video. But Officer Singh, his spirit has been reanimated to go get revenge on those who want immigrants. And his death is this another time loop that they will endure when they die. Those who are pro illegal immigrant. Yeah. Yeah. I become a alcohol swilly vodka drinking drunk in the last few months, huh? I wonder what happened when I came back to this timeline this time. Um, an interesting thing that I wanted to mention is the whole reason I did this video. So hopefully this part of it will be there, and it's not going to be long, and I'll upload it later. But I went shopping a few times over the last couple months, and I don't know, about 2-3 weeks ago, I was in a store and I got bit by a bug on my arm after I'd been in the store for a while. And I scratched it and pulled my sleeve up, and there was nothing on my arm, no mark or nothing. It just was an itch. And there was no bug or nothing. But it was like I got bit by a mosquito in the store. Well, there was nothing on my arm. I just scratched it, but it was right by my vein. And it's been itching ever since then. Well, then, I don't know, about a week later, I noticed there's a tiny little mark there. 2 weeks into it, I'm still scratching it, and it turned into a bigger sore with a scab on it. And now, 3 weeks later, I peeled the scab off, and there's a little hole there, right next to my vein, like something's trying to work its way to my vein. It's going in at an angle towards my vein, this hole that's being bored into my skin from this bite that I got while I was in the grocery store. So I don't know what the hell. But see, this is the thing about illegal immigration, is the things that they can put on those people to create plagues and stuff. In the era when like my ancestors, my Italian ancestors immigrated here, there was a vetting process to make sure that people didn't have any diseases or plagues on them. So they had to go through Ellis Island, quarantine, and stay there until it was determined that they didn't have anything before being put into our general population in America. And that's back when we had people that cared about Americans in government. Now we don't have that anymore on the federal level. So everybody's being programmed to not care if you get stricken with a plague, and understand that people, that they're uncivilized, so they want to come here and they want to be thugs. They want to carry guns and be lawless and afflict the taxpayers who were born here and support this nation with their work. That's a plague. That's a human-shaped plague. But this is all part of their agenda that got cursed, and the entities that want this they're being stalked by angels of death. And I wanted to say another thing. There's nobody who could have been more against the governor we have in Michigan now, that woman Whitmer or whatever her name is, Gretchen. Nobody could have been more against her being elected governor than me. But now that she's governor, she's our governor. So this stuff that these white devils are doing, these lame duck bugs on their way out to hinder her authority, they're sabotaging us. After we put them in that position, they're sabotaging us, Michigan residents, when they do this evil shit to limit the power of our governor just because they don't like her. I don't like her either. But we can't have her power be limited because we don't like her. Otherwise, we have this fiasco that's happening with Trump, where he's trying to make things better for us. He wants such a small percentage of the budget to protect us from plagues. There's a demographic out there that they want to afflict these entities with plagues and put them through. That's why they're taking these people and they're dropping them off at parks now. Because, well, if there's no money for a wall, if there's not $5 billion for a wall, there's not $50 billion to house all these immigrants, okay? That's just common math. If you don't have 10% of it to slow it down, you don't have 10 times it to facilitate what the problem is causing. We don't have the money to house and pay for all these people. We have homeless veterans. Okay? We have homeless people that we are already obligated to, that our people, our families, our blood. Okay? Now, we haven't fixed their plight yet. And now we're adding to their plight. They're already homeless and now lawless entities who came here to take advantage of the welfare tit. They're getting dumped out there on the streets with them. Now, this is going to create a civil war as entities who belong here start standing up against entities who do not. If they came across the border without going through the proper channels, they don't belong here. I don't care what any fool tells you. They're not homeless. They're not out there. They don't even do their own shopping. Their groceries are delivered, so they don't even have to go to the store and deal with these entities that they walk down the aisleway of the store, and if they have to shit, they just drop down and shit right there in the aisleway and walk on. Okay? And leave dookie right there on the floor in your grocery store. You can't take your dog in the grocery store, but these people can go shit in your grocery store. You see? It's just, and then they handled dookie with their hands. They didn't use a facility and wash their hands. And they go and they touch all the food with that E. coli on their hands. You see how they, that is going to spread shit. So then you innocently touch a package of meat that one of them just got done touching. Yeah. You didn't know you couldn't touch that meat. It's not sanitary. It's not safe. You didn't know you couldn't touch the tomato or the lettuce. Somebody with E. coli on their hands already touched it. Yeah. Then you touch your eyes. Before you get a chance to wash your hands, you've touched your eye, you've touched your face. This stuff is moving around on your face and into your system. We're in an era where we gotta wash our hands. All right, I want to leave you with this. This is getting really long. Damn, I thought I'd be done in a minute. And it's all glitchy and fucked up. It's probably going... Because that's what they want to make in my videos. They can't compete with what I'm saying, so they don't want me to say anything. They just want to put a black sign in front of my words. But, they don't want you to hear stuff like this. Pornography shrinks your brain. The thought part of your brain. For real. And they found a way to spread those effects to the general people who do not look at pornography. Okay? I know this to be a fact because I have two siblings who are heavily into porn who they're like infantile, retarded, self-absorbed zombies. Okay? And I've watched since a lot of almost everybody's bought iGadgets, you know, smartphones and little iPads and shit, that they're becoming just like them, tiny minded. They found a way to do it with the iGadgets to shrink the brain. Because if they can challenge your ability to free think, then you become hive minded. You do what they want you to do. You buy what they want you to buy. You become sick with what they want you to be sick with. And you seek out the treatment that they want you to seek out. Because you're doing everything they want you to do so they can just bam hit you. They hit, you know, with the stuff from the sky, compounded with what's in the food and the water, compounded with the frequencies coming through the media and through these internet platforms. You know, there's sub frequencies. They lace our videos with sub frequencies now, so that when you replay it, the audio is not the same. There's a sub frequency there that's hidden. You can't hear it with your ear, but your body is responding to it, just like a Wi-Fi signal. And they're using those too. And now they come up with this other stuff that they're putting on the poles everywhere. And they have Dew armed in that. And you know, it's like, well, if you're tiny minded, you don't care that they're arming everything, where they can just remotely, they don't even have to have drones anymore. You see, all they have to have is interface. So pardon me. They're hitting us. I got hit in the flesh. They just hit me. All right. Yeah, that's not a bug bite. That's not a natural bug bite. And it's not something that they introduced into my atmosphere in my home. It's not from a flea. It's not a chigger. It's not all the things that common things people would comment and say. It's none of that. Okay? I've seen all these things because, well, I come from the ghetto, and I'm also, on one side of my family is, you know, hillbillies. So I've seen it all. Fleas, tigers, chiggers, roaches, you know, all this stuff. I've seen it all. And this is none of that. This is some weird shit where when I got bit, there was nothing on my arm. Absolutely nothing. Now it has escalated. It's been 3 weeks since I went to the store. Walked around in the store, and after being there about 10 minutes, I got bit by something. Okay? Now, who knows what's being carried on these entities that they're putting in the parks? Families. And how do you tell them that, hey, do you know they're just going to make you homeless because there's no more money to house anybody? The previous 24 million people that got in here over the last couple years already used it all up. Now we don't even have $5 billion for a wall. So we surely don't have $50 to $100 billion to house, feed, and medicate you. They won't tell them. They'll just keep Trojan horsing. Yeah, turning them loose in the parks, and then they become part of our homeless demographic. And then you got them fighting for survival, and you're going to have demographics rise up to protect the taxpayers that are getting hit. They can't take the bus no more because, well, there's an illegal immigrant who's starving, who's going to do something to them to get something to eat. You see? Do you see why you can't let them tell you what to think? Because they'll have you league up with them. Now, why would you want to bring somebody to this nation and make them homeless? Why would you want to do that to them? This is a dangerous nation to be homeless in. You all know that. You all know that. Any of you who've ever been homeless in a city know it's dangerous. It's not what it used to be before people got tiny-minded with iGadgets and social media. Try to think about them.